Hello, this is Miss Ozia, and I'm going to speak to you about A-level art textiles. It's a brand new course that we're offering this year, so it's going to be quite a quick presentation, but hopefully we'll give you all the information that you need in order to have a little think about it, and hopefully it'll be something that you'll consider taking as one of your options. We're offering the art textiles A-level via edXL as our exam board, and I've popped the exam code up on the screen for you, so 9TEO, in case you want to have a further look into the specification. It will give you lots and lots of information about that. If you're interested in art textiles, then it's possible that you're also interested in the other art A-levels that we offer at the Hemel Hempstead School. So I'll just let you know that it follows the same specification as fine art, photography and graphics. That's not an issue at all. If you want to take more than one of those, you are able to. It doesn't contradict at all, but it does mean that the format is very, very similar, just using a different material area. So, art textiles. If you would describe yourself as any of the following, then this might be an option that would be interesting for you. So if you're creative, experimental, skillful, inquisitive, passionate, or determined. You don't necessarily need to have prior experience within textiles. You don't have to have taken a textiles GCSE, for example. You just have to have that interest in working with your hands and doing something creative, but doing something a little bit more textural and three-dimensional than you would experience in art or graphics or photography. You don't have to have the skills. When we talk about being skillful, for example, it doesn't need to be textile skills, but if you quite like making things in other material areas, then that will be something that you'll be able to apply to your textiles work. So an A-level art textiles gives you the opportunity to explore practical and critical or contextual work through the disciplines of textiles for interiors, fine art textiles or fashion textiles. So that means that you would be able to focus on the type of work that would lead towards being an interior designer, for example, the type of work that would lead you into being an artist and working and producing works of art, or the type of work that would lead you into working within the fashion industry. So it's quite a broad area to study, and you can select which one of those you're most interested in, or you can keep it wider and you can experience all of those different areas. You don't have to select just one of them, but it does give you that opportunity. If you've always wanted to work in fashion, for example, then you can focus on building up your skills in making garments. Studying A-level art textiles in the same way as the other art A-levels that I mentioned previously will do, it will help you develop the following skills. So your intellectual, imaginative and creative and intuitive capabilities, your investigative and analytical, experimental, practical, technical and expressive skills, and also helps you develop an aesthetic understanding and critical judgment. It builds your independence of mind in developing, refining and communicating your own ideas, your own intentions and your own personal outcomes. It builds and develops your interest in and your enthusiasm for and your enjoyment of different arts, crafts and designs. And it gives you an experience of working within a broad range of media. It gives you an understanding of the interrelationships between art, craft and design processes and an awareness of the context in which they operate. It will give you a wider knowledge and experience of real-world contexts, and where appropriate, it will give you links to creative industries. It will build your knowledge and understanding of art, craft and design and media and technologies within contemporary and past societies and cultures. And it builds your awareness of different roles, functions, audiences and consumers of art, craft and design. So how do we assess you? What kind of work are you going to do? The A-level is made up of two different components that are carried out over the 2 years in sixth form. The first component is worth 60% of your final A-level grade and takes up the majority of your time in those 2 years. It would be commonly called your coursework, and it's the work that you would be doing ongoing. We would be giving you a theme or a title to work to, and then you would branch out and develop that in the way that you wanted to. In order to start on that component, we would do a series of workshops in different skills and methods, and we can base those around the particular interests of the people that want to do the course. So we have lots of people that are interested in doing it as a fashion course, then we would do lots of practice of garment structure. If more people wanted to go into interiors, then we might do more print-based workshops and so on. But you would get a really wide experience of different aspects of it. Within that assessment, there are 3 major elements. So you have your supporting studies, your practical work, and a personal study. The supporting studies and your practical work comprise of portfolio of development work and outcomes. So that's your actual art textiles work that you would build up in sketchbooks and swatches and in a portfolio, and they'd be based on the themes and ideas that you've developed from personal starting points that we'd provide for you. Your personal study is a written element, so it's a written communication showing contextual research and understanding, again, given on a topic of your choice, and you would write in continuous prose, so as an essay of a minimum of 1,000 words. But you can also integrate images into that, so it doesn't have to be just a written piece of work. You can make it a little bit more creative as well. And that personal study, the written element, is 12% of your total grade. The second component is the exam element. So that is a 40% of your final A-level grade. When we talk about an exam in art, we are talking about a practical exam. So those of you that have done GCSE art will have experienced that, or have seen it happening around you. That you have an exam that carries on over, in GCSE it would be a couple of days, in A-level it is carried out over 3 days, so you get 15 hours, so we do 3 5-hour days, and that is for you to purely work on in sustained focus on an outcome of relating to the topic that's been released. That's one element of component 2. The first element is your preparatory studies. So the exam is based on a topic that's released by the exam board, and that's released at the beginning of February. And the exam board give you a theme and suggested starting points. And then you would spend the time between the beginning of February and the exam that is usually scheduled in May, June, when the other exams are, and you'd have all of that time to be producing your preparatory work for it. So you'd be investigating that, those starting points, and experimenting and developing what you want your final outcome to be. And then during that 15-hour period, you would produce your final outcome. So whether that was a developed piece of print work that you're doing for interiors, or whether that was a piece of artwork with mixed media textile skills included in it, or whether that was a piece of a fashion garment that you were producing. Okay. I hope that sounds interesting to you. If you do have any other questions about it, or if you want any more information, then, as I said at the beginning, the beginning of the video, there was the specification code for it. So it's EdXL, and the code is 9TEO. But equally, please do come and speak to myself, Miss Osier. So I'm the head of art, design and technology. And if you are external to the school, then you can also contact me via the email address on the screen. So p.osier@hemelschool.com. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.